Quran, which is
Okay, are we going to go over this or you want to go over
many questions will come from this exam, trust me.
It's like the best three tests here, no? You know how we had 4 tests? Is it part of the best?
You're
three
saying
tests?
best? Really? Look at the score.
I know this is the worst. I know.
Okay. So from here, what will be in the final exam? I'm telling you, all of my in-class exams are actually based on final. So if you can do all of them by yourself, then you have a final exam in front of you. There are a few questions I couldn't put them, but I did put them in the review sheet. So if you study review sheet, that means you're studying the final exam. And to test yourself, take the in-class exam again. I posted the blank in-class exam on Brightspace. Test with those. And also I posted a solution with one error. I have to fix that error. Okay, so definitely one question will be here in the final exam. Definitely. Could be the left one, could be the right one, I don't know. But one of them definitely. So in here, they are asking to replace x in that function is g of x. So this g of x, we are going to putting them into the x here. So f of, let me write, g function is 2x squared minus 3 is 6, 2x squared minus 3 minus 1. So you just replace, but you're not done because you have to simplify. So to simplify, all you have to do is distribute 12. 12x squared minus 18 minus 1, and you are done. What many people did, they set it equals to 0, solve for x. I don't know why you did that. I didn't say solve for x. I said just find the composition. In composition, we never solve for x. In the next one, it's saying clearly that find f of 1 first. Okay? Whatever is inside, you always start from that. So f of x is x cubed minus x plus 1. So f of 1 is simply 1 cubed minus 1 plus 1. So you replace all the x you see here with 1. So plus 1 minus 1 cancel out. We have only 1. 1 cube is 1.
Professor, I don't know if I got the full credit. I got it right. Like I did G of F, so I just put I just did F of G. I mean, I put F into G first, and then afterwards I got my answer. I put the one in that.
You don't get the same answer.
Oh, I did.
I think. Because G of 1 is 4, not 1. So f of 1, we already found it's 1. So in the next step, in the g function, we are going to replace all the x with 1. So g function is square root of 11x plus 5. Instead of that x, we are going to replace 1.
No, yeah.
So it's 11 times 11. 11 times 1 is 11 plus 5. That gives us 16, which is only 4.
First of all.
So you didn't replace anything. You just found the function and then replace. It's also fine.
Because I'm just trying to make sure everything auto-processes. I don't want to like.
So you found the composite function, but in this case you didn't have to. But you found it, no problem.
Because I rather just like do it like as you go. You know what I mean?
No
It's just,
problem. It's a good practice. Okay. So make sure you know the correct process for the final exam, because trust me, one of these always come in the final exam. Now, the next part is for fun only. They will not be in the final exam. So let me skip them for now. If you have time, then you'll come back.
Wait, can you share?
Just take a picture. We don't have time.
So are you gonna do a study thing right before that starts, or?
Yeah, so our exam will be Tuesday, 8 a.m. in the morning, not here, not in this building. It will be in the old building. Okay? Old building, room number 1323. So go to 13th floor in the old building, A building, 13th floor, room number 23. Try to be there around 7:30 because I'm planning to do a review before the final.
Are you gonna make it though, miss?
I will try my best.
Okay, got it.
I actually did it before, so I'm hopeful.
You have to look up like 5 or 6. Let's have fun.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely one of these in the final exam. If you are lucky, they will give you the graph and they will tell you to identify the equation. Or they will give you a bunch of graphs, you have to identify the correct one, okay? Or you have to draw it. So it doesn't matter what you have, but definitely one of them will be there, most likely. So when you do that, remember, negative in front means it's a reflection about x-axis. If you have a number next to the x, it's always left, right, on the opposite direction. So minus supposed to go left, but it doesn't. It goes right 3. And single number, do you remember my story? When you're single, our mood sometimes go up, sometimes go down because we are so single. So that's why anytime you have a single number, it's only up, down. It's never left, right. So minus means down 2. For exponential, we get horizontal asymptote. Every horizontal line is a horizontal line from left to right. So it has an equation y equals. Now we get horizontal asymptote from the single thing. Okay? Horizontal asymptote is a single number. It's y equals -2. My bad, sorry. -2. To draw the graph, always draw the original one because that will make your life easy. So this is the original graph. Base doesn't matter. It's anything, any base to the power x. Now this original one will always reflect first. So if you reflect about x-axis, this positive one turns into a negative one. And now that reflection, you are moving left, right, up, down. So this reflection, we are going 1 down, 2 down, 1 right, 2 right, 3 right. So this is our new point. But before you draw your graph, always try to draw the asymptote. Our asymptote is -2, which is here. So why drawing the asymptote? Because asymptote is the wall. You cannot cross that wall, Aditya. Horizontal asymptote? Horizontal asymptote is the up-down transformation. You go to y. Y equals -2 here. So you go to the -2. This is y -2, right? So going down, starting from the origin, yeah. Y negative down, y -2. So it's 2 units below your x-axis. Another new graph goes through this point and it's reflection of the original one. So original one's going up, reflection is going down. Nicely enough one.
So
Please in our last class.
the 4 doesn't matter. This
No. Base could be anything.
Oh, okay. Because the 4, I went down another 4 units. That's why I got it wrong. Oh, you should have. I should have known. Okay, so I would have gotten it right. Never mind.
So base doesn't matter.
They should have.
It does have an impact, but for you, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Base doesn't matter.
Yeah, because without me, I went down another 4 units because I wasn't sure. I was like, why is the graph ending all the way there?
I did, but you forgot during exam.
Oh, you have to mention.
Sometimes. The next one, y equals negative log x plus 2 minus 3. Same rule. Negative means reflection about x-axis. Any number next to the x means left, right on the opposite direction. So plus should go right, but it doesn't. It goes left too. And single is always up and down. So it's down 3. Now log graph and exponential, they are inverse of one another. So if exponential has horizontal, log has to have a vertical asymptote. So vertical asymptote means it's a vertical line. So every vertical line has a format x equals a number. So we get it from here, it's -2. You may wonder why. It's because, let me erase this. You take your argument, x plus 2 set it equals 0. That's the vertical asymptote. For horizontal asymptote, we don't have to solve anything because it's given directly. For vertical asymptote, we have to solve it. Now we're going left. So I always said draw the original one because the original one tells you which direction you should go. Original one goes to the x value 1. Okay. Now we have an asymptote at -2. So this is -1, this is -2. So our wall is this line. So we cannot cross this line. First thing we do is we reflect. When we reflect, the above portion of the original graph goes below, and the down portion of the original graph goes up. So this is the reflection. This is the original one. This is the original one. And the red one is the reflection one. Now the reflection, we are moving 2 left, 3 down. So we take this x-intercept, we go 1 left, 2 left, 1 down, 2 down, 3 down here. And doing the exact same thing. The left is going up, the right side is going this direction. Okay? Take the reflection, go 1 left, 2 left, 1 down, 2 down, 3 down, draw that off. So your left side will never cross your wall, your asymptote. Surprisingly, many of you were able to do log, but you couldn't do exponential. And many of you could do exponential, but couldn't do log. Only a few were able to do both. But remember, one of them, there's a high probability of having them in your final exam. I don't know which one. The next one, definitely you'll see this in the final exam, definitely. Okay. And they have many different scenarios. If you have, let me put this down. So if you have a big radical, that means everything inside the radical belongs to everything inside that. So we have square root of x cubed y, which is same as square root of x cubed square root of y. Many of you have failed to notice that it's square root of y. So now by exponent rules, power goes on the top, the radical goes on the bottom. So we have 3/2 because we have square roots. For y, we don't have any power, so it's 1/2. So this is what we have on the top. That means for them, we have plus sign. Log x to the 3/2 plus log y to the 1/2. Anything you have on the denominator, everything gets negative sign, not only the first thing. What do you mean? What is the even number? Square root of 4, something like that. Then you do 2. If you can simplify that. But if you cannot, leave it alone. Okay, so everything from the denominator gets minus. I don't remember who, but at least five of you wrote the first one negative and the rest were positive. No, everything gets negative sign. Negative log 3, negative log z squared, negative log w. Okay, everything gets negative on the denominator. Now log hates power, so it cannot leave our power alone. I don't have space, so let me just redo everything. The power comes down as a coefficient. This power will come down as a coefficient. Log 3 doesn't have anything, so we'll leave it alone. Z squared has a power, so we need to bring these two down as a coefficient. W doesn't have any power, so we'll leave it alone. So this is the final answer. No power, no denominator. The next one is other way around. What we did here, it's completely opposite. So everything you have on the coefficient becomes power. Every coefficient, only the number, not the sign. A few of you took the sign and you put that sign inside the log. No, sign doesn't count because sign tells us where we're supposed to put the variable or the thing. Is it on the top or on the bottom? Negative in the front means you have to put it on the denominator. Positive or no sign on the front means should go on the numerator. So this 4 becomes z to the 4. This 1/3 becomes w to the 1/3. And if you want to put cube root of w, it's fine. Now, single log means you have to have log only once, single. And since we have plus sign, minus sign, so based on their sign, we are going to put something on the top, something on the bottom. The first one has no sign, so it goes on the top. The second one has a negative sign. Because of the negative, it goes on the bottom. The third one has a negative sign. Because it's negative, so it has to go on the bottom. Lastly, cube root of w has plus sign in the front, so it goes on the top. And we put a big parenthesis. Okay. So every negative sign, we don't put them on the power because we put them on the denominator with the positive power. The next one, you'll see this in the final. Convert into standard form and then find the center and radius. So we bring x terms together and then you have a plus y terms together. Get rid of the number from the left to the right.
Perfecting the square.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the photo on the other side.
Exactly. So with the first one gets a variable x. We take half of whatever we have in front of the variable, the single variable. So it's plus 1. So we add plus 1 with a square. So this is minus 2, so we get minus 4. So we add negative 4 with a square. So we divide the middle coefficient by 2, put it inside, but the outside it gets square power. So we have x plus 1 squared. So this is y. Y minus 4 squared. And when you combine, we have 32 plus 1 plus 16.
Okay.
We get 49. So this is standard form. Standard form.
Oh, you want us to give you the coordinates of the x and y?
So first you put in the standard form.
It's like form circle.
No, it's not finished.
Form of the.
Standard form of circle. So this is the standard form of circle.
Yeah.
We have standard form for everything. Standard form of parabola. Standard form of circle, standard form of other things. We've standard form for every shape.
Alright, so you have to set everything.
So if you don't remember, then you set it equals 0 so that you can see what your center is. X is -1, Y is 4, so it's -1, 4.
Your radius, you find your radius.
And your radius is square root of your right side, which is 7. Aditya.
That's just a shortcut, right? We're asking square both sides, just get rid of the square on one side.
Not to get rid of the square on the left side. You cannot get rid of anything in this process. You are doing something so that this general form of the circle becomes standard form so you can see what is the center and what is our radius. So you're not solving anything, okay? We are rewriting the format. Definitely one from inverse.
First, the original quantity, y equals,
Replace f of x with y, so it's 9 minus 5x over 8.
and now you're finding.
So we replace x and y. So x equals 9 minus 5y over 8. And then we solve for y, not x. X is already solved.
Alright, so five both sides, and one get
We don't want the denominator, so we cancel.
8x. 9 minus 5, subtract that.
Subtract 9. And then people make common mistake.
No, you have to divide by
8x minus 9 is negative 5y. Many of you forgot that. You forgot your negative sign. Many of you. It's not 5y what is left. It's negative 5y what is left. So you need to divide both sides by negative 5. Not only 5. Whatever you get, that's your inverse. It's only 3 steps. Replace f of x with y, switch x and y, solve for y. One question from population. They always put one question. Okay, where they give you the formula, you just have to work with that formula. So in here, they're telling us our population is 3 times 5 to the t. And when this population will turn into 375. What I noticed in many of your paper is that you multiply 3 and 5. Definitely you cannot do that because of the PEMDAS. PEMDAS says do the parentheses, exponent, and then multiplication. So how do you expect to do multiplication first without taking care of your exponent? So you cannot do multiplication first. You have to do parentheses and exponent. Parentheses, you have nothing to do, so you leave it alone. But for exponent, we can bring it down. But we cannot until we get rid of the 3. So we need to divide both sides by 3. So they cancel out. And we are happy because now we can bring our power down. But we don't have to in this case because this is a non-calculator portion. Non-calculator portion means it's doable by hand. So you divide. If you don't remember how to divide manually, let me show you. 3 goes to 3 once. You subtract, you get 0. You bring down the next number 7. 3 goes to 7 twice, which gives us 6. You subtract, you get 1. Then you bring down your next number, you get 15. 3 goes to 15 5 times, and now it's perfect.
We're not done at 230 now, right?
Well, many people forgot that, so I'm just refreshing. 125.
You rewrite it.
See, if it's in the non-calculator portion, that means ln doesn't help you. Don't apply ln here because you get stuck. Instead of using ln, rewrite this with a base 5. Since our other side is a base 5, can we rewrite 125 with a base 5?
Yeah.
5 to the what gives us 125? 3. You see? This question was very easy. You cancel the bases and you get your answer a whole number, 3. If you have a question in the non-calculator part, that means it's doable, okay? This is the trick. It's doable. You just have to know how to do it without calculator. The next one, find the tangent line, okay? You'll see this again in the final exam. They put it most of the time, either this question or the circle thingy, center thingy. So the idea here is that we have a center 0, 0. That's the center of this circle. And we have a point -3, -4 somewhere here. Tangent line is the line that goes through the circumference and it's perpendicular to the radius. Okay, so this is the hint that the tangent line is perpendicular to the radius. That means we can find what's the slope of radius. For radius, we have 2 points, 0, 0, -3, -4. So if you want this one to be x1, y1, and this is x2, y2, no problem. You have -4 minus 0 over -3 minus 0. That gives you -4 over -3. And then I feel sorry for most of you. Just because you see negative, you thought the slope of tangent line is +3/4. You thought. It's not. Because look, double negative turns into a positive. So it's actually a +4/3. So tangent line is supposed to have the opposite sign and reciprocal. So 4/3 becomes 3/4 and the sign has to be minus. Because it didn't have that, the rest was 0. But I was nice, I give you 1 point at least. So once we know the slope of the tangent line, we also know our x1, y1. That means we have to find the equation y minus y1 slope x minus x1. So y minus -4. You guys forgot, many of you forgot, put double negative, you put y minus 4. This y minus -4. Slope is -3/4. Again, x minus -3. They turn into positive, they turn into positive. So y plus 4 is -3/4 x plus 3. But in the final exam, usually they solve for y. So we need to solve for y. And we are going to subtract 4 from both sides. So we have y equals -3/4 x, -9/4 minus 4. We have same sign, so we keep the sign, but actually we add the numbers. But in order to add, we want the same denominator, so we multiply top and bottom. So denominator is 4, and we have 9 and 14, that gives us 25. So -9, -16 gives us -25. So it's -25, and we have -3/4 of x. If you did everything correctly up to here, you get 1 point extra.
Oh, really? Okay, I got it right.
Mm-hmm. And then the next few are fun questions. So let me skip those.
I love this 1 point.
But this will be in the final. So draw the original one. Since it has this shape, so original one is this one. The original one, we are moving 1 unit, 2 unit to the left. So our original graph is ln of x. Because this is the log graph, log. This original graph, we are moving 2 units to the left. Left means a number next to the x in the opposite direction. So -2 becomes +2. ln of x plus 2. That's the graph given to us. For this one, the original graph is exponent e to the x. This e to the x, we are shifting 1 down, 2 down. So e to the x, we are shifting 2 down. So our 2 has to be single minus. This e to the x minus 2. Okay. Either you have to draw the graph or they'll give you choices. You're going to pick the correct choice. But definitely one from either exponential or log. I don't know which one. You will have one of these. Solve the log function. And you cannot solve until you combine 2 logs into 1 log. So log base 2, x plus 7, x plus 5 equals 3. And then you're stuck because you don't know how to work with log, but you do know how to work with exponential. So what we do, we convert this into exponential function. Exponential function says it's like a cycle. The base gets the right side as a power, and we said that this is power. We said that equals to the argument. We need to use FOIL. You get x squared plus 12x plus 35. That gives us 8. So what many of you wrote was it's 3. That's why everything was wrong. It's not 3. It's 2 to the power 3.
Yeah, thank God.
You must. So you subtract 8. X squared plus 12x plus 27. That gives us x plus 9 and x plus 3. So we have x plus 90, x is -9, x plus 30, x is -3. And you said, oh, these are our answers. Guess what? If you say this is our answer, you did all this work for nothing, you got 0. I feel sorry for you guys, but I had to. Because this is the final exam policy. You pick the wrong choice, you have to check.
All right, so for this one,
You have to check in the original one, not in the other one.
I got it right.
So log 2 x plus 7 and log 2 x plus 5.
I'll just tell you what I did. Right? So I just put both numbers and which if any of the numbers you put in parentheses get negative, wrong.
Exactly.
Whatever
Our first number is -9. So it's -9 plus 7 gives you -2. So you cannot take -9. Log cannot have 0 or negative.
And for next one,
So if the first one is wrong, you automatically don't have to check the other one. You go to the next number, -3.
negative.
-3 plus 7 gives us 4. Okay, but we also have to check this one. -3 plus 5 gives us 2. That's also okay. So for -3, both logs are positive. So only solution is -3, not -9. Okay, so you must check your solution for log, radical, and denominator type of question. 3 types of question you need to solve your answer always. So here, log 0 doesn't exist, and log any negative doesn't exist. So after substituting, if you get 0, it doesn't exist. Or if you get a negative inside the log, it doesn't exist. Log is a very special thing. It can only have positive things. You have one of these. We have many scenarios here. And we cover all the scenarios in our lecture. So if you forgot, make sure you rewatch those.
So for me, what I would just rewrite.
Since we have 9 and 81, so we can rewrite 81 using the 9. 9 is what? 81 is what? 9 to the 9 square. So we rewrite because we want to have the same base. And we want to have the same base because when we have them, we simply cancel them. We can distribute here, we don't have time. So 2x minus 8 gives us 3x plus 5. I'll take out 2x because it's smaller. And I'll subtract 5. So we have x is negative 13. And for exponential, negative doesn't matter. For log, we have to check.
You get
Mm-hmm. See population. So either the population will be in the non-calculator portion or will be in the calculator portion. You have two choices. In here, they're telling us the population has this formula when we'll have population 40,000. So population is 40,000 and its formula is 25,000 e to the 0.080. Our goal is to solve for this t. So we need to get rid of the number first. 25,000. So we cancel all the zeros. We left to it 40 over 25. If you want, you can simplify here. It will be 8 over 5. You don't have to, but if you want. So e to the negative 0.080. And now our exponential term is alone. So we go and ask ln to come. In here log doesn't work because opposite of e is not log, opposite of e is ln. So they cancel out. We have 0.080 equals ln of 8 over 5. Make sure you have 8 over 5 inside a parenthesis. Otherwise you get a different answer. So we divide by coefficient and whatever we have, that's the answer. 5.8, right?
Yeah.
5.8, something like that. Just because you have a calculator doesn't mean you know how to use it. Make sure you practice with the calculator. And make sure you have a good calculator so that in the exam, you don't face any problem. Distance. It doesn't always come, but it comes sometimes. So you take the differences of the x's, square that. Differences of the y's, square that. And you always add them so that we have something positive. So the squares and plus sign guarantee us that our distance will be a positive number. So x1, y1, x2, y2. It says x1 minus y1 or x2, x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1 doesn't matter because square makes everything positive. So 1 minus 2 square plus 3 minus 4 square. Make sure you replace correct numbers. Many of you did x1 minus y1, x2 minus y2. Come on.
I did that, but I still got the radius.
Really?
I don't know.
No, you didn't write x1 minus y1. You did x1 minus x2 or x2 minus x1.
Yeah.
But they take this one, subtracted that, take this one, subtracted that, which is wrong.
Oh. Wait, what?
So bottom line, make sure you substitute the correct number.
Yeah. I just
Negative 1 square, this turn into a plus, so
Oh, yeah.
7 square.
I subtract the x values, but I did it.
You did x values, but they did x minus y.
How?
They wrote 1 minus 3, or 3 minus 1.
What?
So we have 1 plus 49. That gives us 50. And here I say simplified because sometimes this question comes under the non-calculator portion.
no, I still got
And then you have to simplify. So when you simplify, our goal is to see, can you divide that by any perfect square number? we can, it's 25 times 2. So square root of 25, square root of 2, that gives us 5 square root of 2. Definitely this one. Okay. So the goal to rewrite is, the reason we rewrite is to use the base 10. So don't put anything here. It doesn't make sense. Nothing goes here. We have invisible 10 there. So it's 164 over log 7. Or you can write ln 164 over ln 7. And then it was 2.261, right? Was it, Aditya?
No, you got it right.
Now for money, we have many choices. 4 scenarios. I don't know which scenario they will give you, okay? So make sure you work with all 4 scenarios. Sometimes the initial amount is missing. Sometimes the final amount is missing. Sometimes the R, interest rate missing. Sometimes the time is missing. So depending on what is missing, you have to solve for that thing, that variable. So in here, it says find the amount accumulated after investing this much. It means you're looking for the final amount. So final amount is missing. And they're telling us it's compounded quarterly, not continuously, means this formula, 1 plus R over N to the power NT. Anytime you have something that is not continuous, it's this formula. So initial amount is 2796. Our interest rate is 5.4, but we didn't write 5.4. We have to convert it into decimal. So 0.054. 0.054. We are doing quarterly. Quarterly means our N is 4. So we have 4 times 3 years, which is 3. You put that in the calculator, and whatever you have, that's the answer. What's the answer? 0.14. The next one is continuous. So anytime you have continuous, it's A equals P into the RT. They are telling us we're investing 3,600. Rajesh, we are investing 3,600 with the interest rate 7. So 7% means 0.07. So e to the 0.07. And we are doing it for how many years? We don't know. But eventually our money will turn into 5500.
By opposite.
No, we need to get rid of these coefficients. So our exponential become single 0.07. Now we can apply ln. When you apply ln, they cancel out. We get, I understand, 0.070. So it divide by 0.07. And whatever left, that's our answer.
Yeah. Yeah, myself was right. It's calculate automatically gets rid of the 0. So even what happens.
6.05. And this is the last question. One of these, definitely, probably both of them. And in the review sheet, there is also another type. So make sure you practice with that also. So we have 5, x minus 4, 396. We are stuck here. We don't know what to do. When you're stuck, we seek the help of log or ln. It doesn't matter. Let's do ln. It's simpler.
I forgot to put the friends. Oh,
You can do it in the next step. So this comes down. Huh? No, because 5 is a base. We can never divide by a base. So x minus 4 comes down and we have ln of 5, ln of 396. Our goal is to get this x alone. That means we have to get rid of this thing first. And then we can add 4. So that's the final answer. And how much is that? 7.7.
Miss.
What?
I wrote.
No, you didn't put
What's the
ln.
difference? Because I didn't write the parentheses. Just divided.
See, you don't have the same answer. You don't have the same answer, right?
No, I got it different. I got it wrong because why that? What's the difference between this and that? And the parentheses version.
Calculator calculates things differently.
So I would have gotten it right.
If you had close your parentheses, probably didn't close your parentheses here.
I'm not
on the
sure.
denominator.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know when to close it.
Anytime it's not next to the ln, you have to close it.
Okay, so for this one, how's this one wrong? It's 0. Huh?
The answer is 0.
Yeah, so I put
But you
0.
didn't put 0.
I did.
Put it up now.
No, I didn't. I swear. Yeah, and then this is also 4, right?
Yeah, but you didn't write the answer. You wrote log 10 4. What's the answer?
4.
But
Same
you
thing.
didn't tell me it's 4. See here, you wrote them. See 2. See, you wrote them specifically. What's the answer here? I'll give you points. Hold on. The last one. We have ln of 8x equals 6. Now, many of you applied ln again. How come you're applying ln when you're trying to get rid of the ln? The opposite of ln is e. So you have to apply e on the base, not multiplying. It's e on the base. So they cancel out. We have 8t is e to the 6. And we divide by 8. 50 point something, right? 50 point what? 50 point something, whatever. You have to put on both of them so that e and ln cancel out. And you have e on the other side. On the left, you have to put both of them because you have 2 ln here. You apply ln to both sides. Okay, so once more, our final exam will be next week, Tuesday. Okay. 18 December 18, 8 a.m. Okay. Sorry, 17.
How was it?
My pen is not working. Okay, it's 17, 8 a.m. But try to come earlier so that we can have a review with you. If you don't come early, you're missing your review. 8 to 10. We cannot give you extra time because we don't have any. They have an exam after class.
Are you in a hurry though?
Huh?
Can you start the exam at 8:30?
Because we don't have time. We have to finish at 10 because they have another exam after that. So they're going to use the classroom. Tomorrow midnight. I'm going to open all the homework till tomorrow midnight. So if you want to improve, make sure the last
It'll open tomorrow midnight.
close open till tomorrow midnight. So thank you everyone for a wonderful semester. Good luck.
Alright, so can you get my voice up?
Yeah, but fun.